Hi, my name is Kumari Sky, and I am here to give you a yin yoga pose tutorial. I'm going to be talking about twists in yin yoga. Usually, twists are lying down in yin yoga, so that's what I'm going to show you. Not to say that you couldn't do it seated, it's just a little more yang like when you're trying to just like hold yourself sitting up. Remember that the idea in yin yoga is to relax our muscles as much as possible. So doing it reclined really makes this more accessible for more people. In the twists, we can use them at the end of practice. It's a really great time to do a twist in your yin yoga practice because it's going to help restore equilibrium and release tension in the spine that could have happened while you were practicing. So I'm going to just show you a basic twist to start out, but keeping in mind there's so many ways you can do a reclined twist. So starting out, just laying on your back, drawing your knees to your chest, allowing the legs to just drop to the right, opening out the arms in a T, in cactus, in a V, and then turning your head and neck to the other side if that's comfortable. So that's one way. What happens if your legs or your student's legs don't come to the floor? Put a block there or a bolster. What about if you look something like this in the twist? Your legs won't shut. A really nice thing to do is to put a bolster in between. So now I'm going to give you a side view to the other side. So what happens if you see something like this? Well, the best thing to do is to snuggle a blanket under this arm so it can be supported. In general, we don't want our limbs just hanging in space while we're practicing yin yoga. We want to support as much as possible because that way the muscles can really relax. So we want to watch for tingling in the shoulder, in the arm, in the fingers. And if that happens, you want to prop or move your arm completely or coming out of the pose. So if a person has sciatica, probably the best twist for that kind of person is going to be this knees close to the body. We can also do a twist with the feet just on the floor and then just letting the legs drop to one side and turning the head. If it's not painful for that internal rotation, that knee hanging, that's great. But if so, you can do that bolster thing again. So this style of twist is going to be more for the lower part of the spine. And another twist that you could practice is called twisted roots. And this is really great for a deep internal rotation of the hips. So you would bring your legs around. Maybe if you can take your foot around the back of the leg, that's great too. I cannot demonstrate that. And then you're just going to go to the opposite side of whatever leg is on top. And so here you might even feel more of an edge in your low back. You could try it with the other leg around. That really makes a lot more of a stretch in the side body. So it just depends on what your intention is. One more thing, you could add a little weight. If you have sandbags, you could add a little weight, and this can feel really good. My left shoulder is on the floor. You can also put a little weight on the left shoulder if you have sandbags. But just always keeping in mind, if you're going to be using any of these weights or bolsters to make the edge a little stronger, that you're always keeping in mind, like, is this feeling pretty natural? How's my breath? Is my breath getting a little shallower and faster? That means you're in a little too deep. And just always remembering, let gravity do the work. You're not trying to make yourself go into this really deep twist. Just let gravity do the work. So a lot of times a twist is the counter pose, but if you're doing a twist at the end of a practice, some nice ways to just counterpose the twist itself is to take knees to chest and do a few little rocks, or even do some reclined windshield wipers. In the twist pose, the meridians that are affected are the urinary and bladder when we're twisting the spine, the heart, the lung, the small intestines. When the arms are up, those meridians are getting affected. And then in the rib cage, that's where the gallbladder meridian runs through. So those organs are being affected as we practice. The hold times for twists can be anywhere from 1 minute to 5 or more minutes, just depending on where you are in your practice, what is your intention. The twists are just so nurturing to your whole digestive system.